Welcome to the program. Israelis have been voting for the fifth time in less than 4 years as polls suggest an uncertain outcome. Early figures indicate turnout is the highest in 23 years. A crucial question is whether former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will stage a comeback despite facing corruption charges. He'll need to cobble together 61 seats with allies. To get them, his Likud party is turning to the far right. It's expected to seek a coalition with anti-Palestinian ultra-nationalist politician Itamar Ben-Gvir, whose party has gained momentum in recent months. Netanyahu's main rival is caretaker Prime Minister Yair Lapid, but his anti-Netanyahu coalition, which included a Palestinian-Israeli party for the first time, collapsed this year, forcing early elections. We have Stefanie Dekker standing by at Yair Lapid's party headquarters. But first, let's go to Bernard Smith, who's in with the Likud party headquarters camp there. Bernard, how confident are they that they can cobble together a coalition and ultimately get over the line?
Well, of course, Benjamin Netanyahu will always tell you that he's going to make it. In the last 4 elections, he said on election night he'd won the election, and it turned out he didn't have the votes in the horse trading that went on in the days after. The turnout, though, is looking good for 57.7% so far today across the whole of Israel, but not so good for the Palestinian-Israeli communities, about 23% turnout. And it's the turnout in this election that really matters, that will really make the difference. Most Israelis, you'll be hard-pressed to find any Israeli who hasn't got an opinion on whether they are for or against Benjamin Netanyahu. So there are no vote switching going on. What the parties are searching for are people who haven't voted previously. Likud, Netanyahu's party, reckons there's between 150 to 300,000 potential voters who didn't vote last time. So all the campaigning in the last couple of weeks has been about getting the vote out. And he hopes he's got enough extra voters out to get him and his coalition partners over the line with those 61 votes they need. The problem has been that the Arab Party turnout is not as much as it should be. They're really looking at needing 50% turnout amongst their community to give them enough seats in Parliament to stop Netanyahu's advance. If they don't, then it's Netanyahu who with these religious Zionists, the settler parties, the far-right parties, will possibly form a coalition, and you'll see for the first time in Israel's history far-right lawmakers in government.
All right, well, we will be across that with you, no doubt. That is Bernard Smith covering the Likud party headquarters for us. Thank you very much. Let's bring in Stefanie Dekker now, who is in Tel Aviv and covering the Yesh Atid party headquarters. Steph, there's been a lot of focus on Netanyahu. What messages are coming out of Lapid and his party?
Yes, because these elections are really seen as a litmus test. It's the first election in an extremely long time that Benjamin Netanyahu isn't the prime minister. Who is the prime minister, the acting prime minister at the moment, is Yair Lapid. Now, if we're looking at the numbers, and we've been watching the numbers come in terms of turnout, in terms of what that means for the parties, it's actually been quite interesting because this high voter turnout, particularly among Jewish Israelis and not the Palestinian Israeli contingent, is that you may see the smaller parties that are key to Yair Lapid's coalition perhaps not even make it into the Knesset, perhaps not even seeing, these are hypotheticals, but this is all possible at this point in time, not even seeing a Palestinian-Israeli party in parliament at all. But all these smaller parties is what Yair Lapid depends on to move forward. So it's going to be very interesting once we get those exit polls in about 2 hours from now. The polls had always said that it was going to be neck and neck, but I think this unexpected high voter turnout could change the game. We're going to have to wait and see what it means for the parties. If Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't get, the victory, if you will, over 61 seats, if he doesn't manage to form that government, then Yair Lapid would stay on as an interim prime minister until another round of elections early next year. So again, everything is up in the air, but certainly at the moment, the numbers, the high voter turnout, meaning that there's a big question mark whether the smaller parties are going to be able to make that threshold into parliament, because those numbers have simply increased. They need more voters.
Up in the air is the perfect way to put it. Stefanie Dekker, live for us there in Tel Aviv. Thank you.